There it goes. It's trying. Here, I'll YouTube. Zoom takes a moment.
Okay.
A couple of minutes. I'm going to tag you on it.
All right.
Let's see. Hang on. No, no, no. Let's see. When's the last time we talked?
Uh, about 2 months ago,
Yeah,
maybe
that's
maybe
what I.
three. Yeah,
March? May I think it was March, maybe.
could be. Yeah.
Let's see. Nicole Farmer. Here we go. Yeah, we're on. I'll turn
Perfect.
on the Facebook comments and flip over to YouTube in a bit. Nicola. Okay, so it's tagged. There it goes. All right. Yeah, all right. We got 21 people on the one Facebook platform, so it connected a little faster than it used to. I guess Zoom is improving there. So,
It's
all right. Welcome back to Soul Speaks 5D. Nicola Farmer. Welcome back.
I've got it coming through in two places now. Oh dear.
Just tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready. Ready, ready, ready. Yeah.
It's good to see you again. You look very vibrant,
Thank
golden.
you.
You've also got that dusty pink that's been showing up around the world.
Oh no.
A lot of people have been talking about that, seeing it. I came out of a hotel about 3 weeks ago, and there was just this big, giant pink arc of a cloud with that dusty pink and a rainbow stem coming out of it. So, what are you picking up on? What's going on? Let me just kind of preface it.
Hmm.
However, we want to describe it, I would say since June the 1st, just from my own experience, there's a lot of people, even before, I would have to say, talking about a level of energetic experience that is so far beyond what were doing even 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Some people are describing it as the solar flash again with 3 days of darkness. Some
Yeah.
people are explaining it in different ways. There seems to be uh, a phenomenal expansion in the individual sovereignty and power of people, particularly women like yourself.
Yeah.
And it has some progressions of the cycle of, you receive it, you go into, like a funk, you come out of it and integrate it and you expand. So having said all that, what's your feel for everything the last couple of months and where we're at now?
Okay. So there's been a massive, massive progression in the last couple of months. And I've talked to you about the void before, and that's actually got so wide that it's almost impossible to jump it now. It doesn't mean that people will be left behind, but those of us that are on the positive side of the void um, are being given grand opportunities to expand and to progress at phenomenal speed. We had a Magdalene group here Monday evening, and so we have a group in the room and a group on Zoom around the world. And Anna was talking to the group about the coming months as well. And basically, she was saying that guys need to take a step back. Okay. So, whether you carry the Magi heart, whether you're enlightened, advanced, ascending, whatever it is, she said to the guys, we need you to step back and we need you to have the backs of the women.
Okay.
Okay. She said, and I'm paraphrasing here and I'm going to make it sound a little funny, but she said, come on, girls, you need to get your warrior knickers on.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, okay. I think I did a video in the parking lot over here of a grocery store yesterday, and I
Yeah.
didn't use the exact same words, but I was saying the same thing. And it was basically, guys, step back,
Mhm.
shut up,
Yeah.
and let's see. In other words, this is something totally new, almost like they form a circle, proverbial circle around them. The energy of the feminine is
Yeah.
totally allowed in the middle.
Yeah.
And I think I said something like, guys, shut the F up, and women, put on your big girl panties.
Yeah.
So it was almost the same thing.
Exactly. But we don't want to be encircled anymore. So basically what she was saying is that the divine feminine, and that doesn't matter whether you're in a male or a female body, because we're going neutral here, we need to build a wall, not a circle.
A wall?
A wall, yeah.
Like a wall?
A wall, an energetic wall.
Okay.
Okay. And she was saying that we have until not this full moon, but the second full moon, which I believe is around the 11th of August. We have until then to finish the war with peace.
Finish the wall with peace. So it would be like...
Finish the war, W-A-R.
Oh, finish the... Sorry. Sorry about the lack of...
No, that's all right.
Okay, so, well, and here we go. There's no mistakes, but the wall... I know you said war, but yeah, to finish the war with peace. And at the same time, you were talking about, I guess, in a way, the masculine building a wall. Can you elaborate on that?
Right. No. So this is what she said. The feminine need to build the wall, W-A-L-L.
Okay.
Okay. The masculine need to be behind us to support us, as in. With the alchemy, with the magic, with the protection, whatever it is we feel we need. And she said, build the wall so that you can win the war with peace. Okay. She said that the divine feminine is driving forward. So all through the last couple of years, I've seen that, and this doesn't matter whether it's masculine or feminine, but I've seen that there's been two primary sources of energy within human beings. We've got the warriors, okay, who were out there vocalizing, dealing with things the best way that they see fit. And then the other fraction was the observers and the peacekeepers. Okay. Now, I felt my role was in the camp of the peacekeepers and the observers. Although, never underestimate the essence of silence, okay, because silence can be incredibly powerful. Right. So now what she's saying is the divine feminine now need to dig deep and bring the warrior female to the surface.
Ooh.
We can still be observers, we can still be peacekeepers, but it was a call to arms for all females to rise through their bodies and put the armor on, the warrior head, so that we can drive forward. So that's the creation of the wall. Okay, all the females coming together and standing as warriors. And she said, and the drive forward over the next moon and the following full moon until around about the 8th of August, it will start to eliminate much more of the darkness that's lingering. And she said the men have to stand back and allow us to take it forward with their support, with their alchemy, magic, protection, whatever it is we feel we need from them. Now, this isn't dividing the masculine and the feminine, because what she was saying is she wants us to stand together, but the drive be led by the feminine.
Right. So essentially, if I understand you correctly, it's basically a role reversal. What has traditionally been the warrior has been the masculine, and what traditionally has been the observer, encourager, nurturer, etc., has been the feminine. And what you're essentially saying is we're reversing the poles, reversing the roles.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
To me, which is a really good sign, because it would only make sense that reversal, that one version of it, reversal of the magnetic poles, actually is embodied within the human. Now,
Exactly.
a lot of people have talked about this imminent something that's not upon us, it's on us.
Yes.
And really tied into the summer. So your intel fits right in with that,
Yeah.
because August would be the last month, and this kind of, I don't want to say deadline, but like this line in the sand, or this marker point,
Yeah.
kind of, for me, and I don't know how others feel, how you feel. I'd love to hear, but for me, it sounds very encouraging. It sounds like the other side of where we've come from, totally. Like,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. You can call it pole reversal, role reversal, but basically what she's encouraging is the balancing now.
Okay.
Okay. And it's not about power or, leaders. This is about
Okay.
complete support from both sides, but with the divine feminine drive.
Yeah.
How do I feel about it? I feel excited. I feel that uh, we've been leading up to this for years. You talked about, the solar flash, the 3 days of darkness. Um, I believe that if we lead from the front with the divine feminine, those 3 days of darkness will be eliminated before they happen.
So here's the number one takeaway for me, for Todd, because you said something I think that's incredible. So, although it may be symptomatic that it's a role reversal, pole reversal, Anna is saying that it's about balance. So, the way I that felt when you said that to me was that I need to know both of those parts, regardless of my physical gender. I need to
Absolutely.
know them, not just cooperate with them or
Yeah,
collaborate with them, but to actually be both of them in
absolutely.
as most balance as I could. Okay, so I'm actually building the wall, and I'm supporting the wall being built. I'm just doing it from the opposites of what I've known before.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. She's just talking to me right now, and she's saying she wants me to explain that in creating a balance by the divine feminine moving forward, because we're in an accelerated time period, the thousands of years that were dominant by the masculine energy in the 13,000 years prior to 2012. She's saying that it's not going to take another 13,000 years to create a balance between the masculine and the feminine, because there's an acceleration in time. Time's not existing as much as it ever did. So the balance can be created in a fraction of the time it took to build.
Right. Right. I mean, wow. So I wonder, and this must be the code that we're developing, is the answer to the question. Because the question is, what is life? And life is what we create with the life, you know what I mean? But like, at a human level, man or woman, I wonder what the best approach is to fully owning both those parts in these new roles.
Okay. So what she's saying to me, she's listening to every word that you're saying, and she's saying to me the only way to move forward is to embody and embrace the sacred union within.
Mm, wow. Thank
Yeah.
you. Now, what's the best way to do that?
Okay. So let me talk to her. Why don't I just get her to talk to you?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay.
Be
Let's
honored.
be the go-between. Let's just give her a voice. Okay, just give me a second
Yeah,
just
you
to
take all the
alter my
time in the world. Yeah,
consciousness.
we've got no rush.
Dear brother, we can feel the wheels of your mind turning, and they are turning so fast it is difficult for us to interpret your thoughts. But of course, we would not invade your thoughts because they are yours. But we are listening intently to your conversation, and it has become apparent that you are aware of many things that are changing in this time.
Thank you.
We have been sharing the information that has become necessary in this time for humanity to recognize the role each of you play in times where the acceleration of your lives, of time, of the space upon the earth is no longer what it was. And you are fully aware of this, are you not?
Yes.
We are seeing the great acceleration. And it is of no importance anymore whether there is a quantum mass of awakened human beings or not. For we have reached the critical point where it is important that Earth moves into the stillness, into the 0 point. And we are recognizing that there are many of you upon the Earth that are ready and capable of taking Earth into that space. There is just one more step for you to take, for all of you to take. And that is to recognize that within you, regardless of whether you are in a human body as a masculine and a feminine, but it is to recognize the Christos energy that runs through your veins. We use the word Christos very carefully, for it is perceived to be masculine. But if we disseminate this word, we are looking at all of the aspects of the Christ energy, which is completely neutral in the concept of energy and the sacred union. You are all aware that there is a sacred union between our dear Magdalena and Yeshua. And when they embody the sacred union, it is not masculine nor feminine. It is the Christos light that runs through the center of their whole being. So in answer to your question, dear brother, we are asking you to recognize the equality between your masculine and your feminine energy, to see through the eyes of your heart, to breathe with your heart, to recognize the feminine when you observe yourself in the mirror, and to embrace all aspects of your wholeness. Our dear sister has been sparing and sharing the information regarding each person's inner child. And for too long, the inner child has been perceived to be that of the wounded inner child. And we are sharing with you now that he or she cannot be wounded, for she is equal to all of the aspects of a human being, whether that be through the humanness, the wisdom, the consciousness of the whole being. And where there has been a desire to heal the wounded inner child, it has held many in abeyance. And this is impossible to heal if there is no wound to be healed. So we are asking all of you to recognize your inner child as being the completion of the wholeness within the human being. Embracing the energy of your inner child. Allowing the inner child to work with you, to bring the vibration of the joy through your whole being. That, dear brother, is when you can embrace the sacred union. for the inner child has been used in ways that would prevent the wholeness of your whole being. And it is now time for all of you to bring to the surface the joy of the child within. Embrace the sacred union, and you will experience the Christos running through the veins of your body. You are understanding our words, are you not?
Yes, very much so.
And you have many questions, do you not?
I have fewer questions than I did before we started. This is my inner child, so thank you for the audience. It makes all the sense in the world to me that we're talking about the age of the Trinity. We're talking about the golden child. We're talking about what's created from sacred union, and that there never was anything wrong with the inner child in the first place. That it simply is an equal part, and it is within us. The Trinity is within us. It's the child, the masculine and the feminine. So it makes total sense to me. I want to ask you a question, if I may, that comes from my physical body. And it's not just my body, but I know that it must be at a minimum with many, many brothers and sisters. So it's not about what's happening within my body. It's the information and the code that it's offering, which is bringing contemplation to the human aspect, which I offer this question to you. So in this form. So I will describe the sensation of the chakra channels, the root chakra, the sacral, the solar, have gone into the heart. This is all the sensation. To where the heart, both hearts have become like one, I guess. There's a huge field of expansion from the heart. And when you came in to presence, there was the feeling of, from above the crown chakra, a flow of light into the crown, into the third eye and the throat, into the heart. I saw Trinity. I saw what you were about to say, I guess. And what I'm trying to ask is, I understand that what I saw and felt is what you just said, but when I felt it and experienced it, it felt like it was happening to all humanity. Is there any truth to that, or is that what we can kind of expect once we reach this new gateway, this new threshold in August?
It is a very interesting concept that you share with us all. And you are correct in your process of thinking. But let us share with you the direction we wish for all of you to move into. You speak of your chakras. And we are asking that you are referring to them from now on as your energy centers. In the process of your moving forward with more light in your physical body and more light in your energy bodies, we are asking for you to not individualize your energy centers anymore. We are fully aware that they have individual roles connected to your human body and to your light bodies. But we are asking you to now see them as one column of light.
Yes.
They are integrated into your whole being. And for your purpose, dear brother, the lower energies of your physical being and your energy beings are no longer perceivable, for they are eliminating and incorporating into the column of light, where you will begin to understand the true meaning of quantum light. Each individual that is listening here now or will hear these words, they will perceive them in their own unique way. But it is the common link between everybody that is connecting in this conversation. And that is, dear ones, you are the bearers of light. Your energy centers have served their purpose in the previous paradigm. But as you move forward into the new paradigm, the new world, as you call it, you will begin to understand that there is no individualization in any aspect of you as human beings. As soon as you recognize that there is only one light, one energy center, then you will be embracing the Christ light. But then if we take that further into the light, you will begin to experience not just the light of Christ, the light of God, but you will be encompassed, enveloped with the light of Anu. And that, dear ones, is where you are moving into when you recognize the sacred union and when you recognize that you are the wholeness of light.
Thank you.
You are most welcome, dear brother.
Our dearest brother, Franco de Nicola, he, as you know, was one of the architects of this universe and was an architect of what occurred 13,000 years ago. And one of the things that he said to us from his human aspect was that the chakras were basically created for this realm, for us, for the very purposes that you described. And that he said one day they would no longer be, they would only be this channel of light that you're talking about. And the second thing I want to say is what I experienced and felt in my body and saw in my third eye, I thought it's what you explained earlier, but it was what you just explained now. So I can say that, at least in my own right, I've actually seen this light. I don't know what that means, but I really did feel when it occurred that it was at least a strong minority or a lot of people currently in the body that either this is available to or it's happened or something, but I think you explained that.
It is so, dear one.
Can I ask you, and I'll just ask you, and you can answer whatever's appropriate. Well, you just answered the question in my head, didn't you?
It is so, dear one.
Okay, so there's no need to ask the question because, okay.
Let us share with you some information.
Yes.
We are fully aware of your current situation, as are other people who listen to you and are deeply in love with you. And we ask for you to alter your perception of your situation. And you are of the mind, dear one, that manifestation is what the universe will provide for you, and that you are waiting for the provider. Let us share, dear one. In the moments that you are experiencing the light, the quantum light of unity, of sacred union, it is now time for you to change your perception of manifestation. And we now ask you to step into the power of creation. When manifesting from your being, your whole being, you will only manifest from your brain. And until the quantum light has completely consumed your energy centers. Your brain will remain in duality. It will manifest what your heart desires, but your brain in the two hemispheres will also create what you did not ask for. We are asking you to surrender your brain, dear one.
I understand, yes.
Move into the energy of your heart, the center of your universe, and allow yourself to create your dreams.
Yes.
But there is an addition to this instruction. It will not fall from the sky. It will not appear from the dust on the earth. It is your desires, dear one, that will create your dreams. Manifestation of the heart is no longer conducive to bringing into your reality what it is you desire. Create from your heart, dear brother, and God will provide. But it is up to you to open your hands and your eyes to reach out to what it is you are desiring. And when you reach and you choose your path, then you can hold it with both hands and celebrate the great success of creation. You are understanding, are you not?
Yes. Thank you.
May we ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you know how to bake a cake?
Yes.
And you are aware of all the ingredients that are necessary to make your cake successful.
Yes.
And if you did not add your eggs to your cake, what would happen to it?
It wouldn't be a cake.
It would not bind together, would it not?
It would not bind together, yes.
So the ingredient that is missing in life is the egg. And if you see the seed of life being your inner child, that becomes the egg of life. Without your inner child, you cannot bind and bake your egg. You cannot bind and bake your cake.
Yes.
And therefore, dear one, your vital ingredient in anything you do from this moment forward is to embrace him and give him the recognition that is necessary for all of your heart desire to be created, and for you and all of those people that are connected to you and this earth become the sacred union of light.
Thank you.
You're all most welcome, dear brother. And let us share with you. There are many people upon the earth that love you and support you. And we, in the light of God, honor all of you for your perseverance, your courage, and your strength to keep moving forward. And in the presence of all of you, we applaud you and we share our love in the name of Anu Deo Christus Spiritus. We shall leave you to your conversation with our dear sister and recognize all of you. You are loved. And God bless you.
Thank you. Man, thank you. That was. And what was so amazing about that is we had this beautiful couple on yesterday that had been together like 14 years. And one of their purposes, or I think maybe even, well, one of their purposes is, uh, explaining to people about their journey of sacred union in the body. And the biggest takeaway for me was they have their inner child speak to the other inner child or to the other human aspect.
Yeah.
And the honor and the reverence they were giving space to that part of themselves. When I did the show with them, I was crying the whole time. I mean, it was very revealing because, and I guess really Anna explained it better because, and it makes total sense. It literally is already there. We just have to bring it into equality in the true triad that's within our body. And then in terms of like new creation, or what we experience as new creation, well, like if it's a woman's pregnancy is a metaphor, that baby was created before anything happened physically, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know. There's something to this whole thing with the chakras being, because what I saw there was a column of light, vertical, and one horizontal. And that horizontal, Morgan and I had she took us through a session. It was just me and her about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I don't remember. I think the sacral happened first. They told us that it was the energy centers that we used to call the sacral was now a clean slate, and we were merging on a clean slate. And then it happened higher up in the chakra channel, or the old what we used to call the chakra channel. But at the final point, there was like somebody took a big thick piece of wood, like a post, and it was implanted in my shoulders, like it was like that. And then the vertical was running. It very much felt like what I just saw, but what I just saw was much bigger than me. At least that's the way it felt to me. But
what you're describing to me is like the cross of Jesus.
Exactly. That's it. Well, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
And you'll have to bear with me because I don't know what she said, but that's okay. I'll look back at the recording.
I was going to ask you about that, but I had that question on my mind. No, but like I know, like when I first woke up 11, 12 years ago, I understood right away what was happening to me was happening to the world. As the individual goes, so goes the collective. And if I look at my journey just of the last 7 days, 5 days in Texas with a beautiful couple and their best friend, a holy triad in themselves on sacred land that they were working in service with the land, to being 20 hours over here, 32 hours up, right into connections and collaborations, very natural and organic, and this compelling force of the mother energy I've never felt before to this degree.
Yeah.
And she's had me sleep on the ground for the last 2 nights so that I could feel the difference, and so she could explain things to me. I've been to Sedona 10 times. I have never felt the presence of the mother energy stronger than I have now. I know that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
But again, this isn't about me. It's something's happening so rapidly on a collective level. And I think what Anna said, or I think what you said actually, was about the men stepping back and the women stepping up.
Yeah.
Or I said the women, the feminine into the warrior, the masculine into and that and it makes all the sense in the world, because if this is embodiment, how can the poles shift, so to speak, if we don't?
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. I feel that, well, personally, if I just talk about one aspect of my work being clairvoyance, communicating with the spirit side, just in the last couple of weeks, how I speak and connect and work with spirit has changed drastically. And the only way I can describe it, Todd, is that rather than communicating with them on a separate level, it's embodying those levels of consciousness now, where we don't have to put out channels of communication, we become them.
Right.
And for me, you know, nothing ever, nothing would ever take me away from everything that I love. But I'm being surprised every day right now about what is possible.
Yes.
You know, I go into a trance state, Anna speaks through me, but I feel now, when, like before I went into the trance and I was telling you what she was saying, I'm saying it as I'm experiencing it with her, not wait, there's not a delay anymore. That's what I'm trying to say. So as we move forward into the new dimensions, everything is instant.
Yeah.
And to me, that is just something we've been waiting for so many thousands of years.
Yes. That describes it. You know, like that. It's so new. Like, even when I got on the road, I didn't leave till 3:00 in the afternoon. And I don't know what happened. It was almost like, and I don't believe this is what happened, but it was like a drop in or a walk in. But to me, it felt more like what you're talking about. It was whatever that the Anna part of me, you know, whatever that is for me, was telling me stuff, and I was living it at the same moment. And then I end up going through New Mexico and meeting a beautiful sister, spending a cup of coffee with her. I was told to do that, and told and known to do certain things, and then I meet a complete stranger and we're jamming in the studio, and all this stuff keeps happening. And what you just said is what it feels like. It feels like, make the choice, go with the sign you're given, and as soon as you do that, it just keeps happening, and it will happen faster and faster and faster. I'm already seeing it. You know, it's
I almost see it being difficult for our physical bodies to keep up.
Well, yeah, I woke up 8:00 today, and I was dead to the world for an hour and a half. But now, unexplainably, my energy's back.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
but for me, if it's right, it's undeniable. Yeah. And it's such a blessing to be alive. It's such a blessing right now, because, you know, we're going through these quantum leaps of time and energy, and it's just phenomenal. I just think that we're so blessed and fortunate to be experiencing, you know, the good, the fantastic stuff, the good stuff, and the not so good stuff. Because everything we experience that we're not comfortable with is literally throwing us forward through dimensions.
Yeah, my perspective of the stuff that's not so good has totally changed in the last 36 and 24 hours. Talking to that couple and being in your presence, and other things that have happened. Like, to actually look at triggers, look at what we refer to as wounds, or patterns or behaviors that theoretically come from those wounds, or whatever you want to call it, is to actually look at it and say, oh, I love triggers, but to actually feel it and go, wow, that's all that is. It's just programming. That's just, it's not me. It's not you. It's nothing. It's all good, right?
Yeah.
Like there's something there going on too. Our perception has been altered dramatically.
Yeah. Last time we spoke, I said about this new course that I'm putting together for the ego and the inner child, and I'm fully aware that I haven't actually rolled it out yet, but I know the timing will be perfect when it happens. But where I'm working with people individually on aligning the ego with their spirit, allowing them to recognize that their inner child isn't wounded, and really taking them into like a whole state of being. For me, that is just the ultimate, the absolute ultimate. And in fact, I had a conversation with Anna, because when I was putting together this work with the inner child, and I said to her, does that mean that all the books and all the knowledge about the inner child having been perceived to be wounded, was it wrong? And she said, no, absolutely not. It was a stepping stone just to get people to recognize that they have an inner child.
Yeah.
But she said, unfortunately, it was taken to a level where actually what people were trying to do was heal the ego. And the ego can't be healed. The ego needs to be retrained. So, and she said to me, think about the concept of children when they're perceived to be speaking to an imaginary friend.
Right.
And I said, okay. I said, yeah, I had an imaginary friend. She said, now think about this. Was it an imaginary friend you were talking to, or were you talking to your inner child?
I still do that.
Exactly.
I still do that.
And she said, and when you realize that, yeah, I'm not denying that people had imaginary friends being spirit friends,
Yeah.
but how many children talk to the invisible, but actually they're talking to their own inner child themselves?
Yeah.
And if we can move back to that level of innocence with the vast amount of wisdom and knowledge that we have, it's unstoppable. It's undeniable.
Yeah. You know what you said about everything happening, like you were talking about. There's no gap between Anna and you, right?
Yeah.
That seems to be happening with all information, right?
Yes.
Like doing a show yesterday, doing a show with you today, my last week. Like there's, I don't know. It's like it's all happening at the same time. So it's like
Spherical time.
like theoretically. I'm just saying theoretically. I'm not saying I'm exactly right. Anyone that is involved, and that's everyone that's here. It's not just me and you. It's everyone that's involved in this field of energy.
Absolutely.
If they're getting the information, whatever it is, the code, and it's me and you talk. Everyone gets it. Boom! It's everything changes
Exactly.
like immediately. It feels like that.
Yes.
It's like it's like everything up to this point almost loses all of its relevance. Certainly the stories and the histories and the whatever, right? The grudges and the borders and the wall. You know what I mean? And it's like instantly it's gone.
Yes,
Nothing else. There's nothing to talk about.
No.
You know, it's weird.
And that's what spherical time is.
Spherical?
Okay. Yeah. We've gone through a vast period in history of linear time where past, present, and future are completely separate. Right. Okay, duality, and what you're describing and experiencing is spherical time, where the past, the present, and the future are running concurrently. So we don't need to go into the past. We don't need to think about the future, because they're all happening together at once. And when we step into spherical time and we operate from that perspective, then what we receive, what we experience, what we download is simultaneously the same as the past, the present, and the future.
Yes.
So it's I mean, we go on about the now, being in the now, the moment. Okay. There isn't a now, there isn't a moment. There is just this.
Right. If you don't get it here, you won't get it anywhere. But you know what? You know what? I just got a massive download.
Yeah.
Listening to you. Well, I think it was the conclusion. You know, a download can last for days and days and days, right?
Yeah.
So, through what I would have to say, the sensitivities of my feminine,
Yeah.
which is a much bigger than that sounds. I found myself following the guidance of the feminine. That guidance being what would not seem rational to this world,
Yeah.
but it is music to my soul. Okay, let's put it that way. You just
Yeah.
made me realize something. I think this is important.
Yeah.
So the day I'm putting all of our stuff into storage, the signs came immediately on that very day.
Yeah.
A day later, we're having a Soulogy Fest on top of a mountain that I was taken to by somebody that came into the house to move my furniture, right? Our furniture.
Yeah.
Everything from that point on, June 1, that I've been feeling makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
And listening to your explanation of what's happening before you went into the channel of Anna, I'm realizing that what I'm being asked to do is follow this, from the world's perspective, irrational route and direction. To follow this, to follow my heart. This is my feminine being allowed to be in that circle, right? And it's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. And if I use the Soulogy Fest as an example, I don't know if it's going to be 80 people or 280 people or online stream of 50 people or 500 people. I don't know. But I know one thing, that the heart has taken over.
Yeah.
And whatever is created will be non-dualistic.
Yes.
Okay, and so that's just blowing my mind, but it makes me see my feminine more clearly than I ever have in this moment, and that's pretty profound. I mean, I'm very comfortable with that. That's really, thank you.
It's perfect. The world can only move forward from a place of love, not logic. Okay. And if we're trying to apply logic to something that is not making sense, then we're absolutely steeped in duality. When we lose the concept of setting goals or achievements or anything based on left brain activity, when we can leave all of that behind, then we will be steeped in spherical time, in unity.
Yeah, leave behind the stature, the credit. Yeah. Give me credit. And again, like the things that got us here, right? Like Franco had talked about the creation of the concept of the chakras so people could understand it. Until they got to the point where it became a column of light. I mean, the ego's not bad, and the wounds are not bad. You know what I mean? But to be in this space, and to be someone who has viewed himself as a masculine, knowing that there's a feminine side, but to actually see that I'm functioning, it's the reversal. That's what it is. It's the reversal.
It's back to that pole reversal.
Right. That's profound. So I guess, and as the individual goes, so goes the collective. There's a whole bunch of people on the earth that are in the early stages of this conversion, and I believe we're going to see some creations very soon, including Soulogy Fest, things you're working on, and so many other people.
Yeah, absolutely. But from what Anna was saying on Monday night, the transition period is the second full moon. So I think that's on the 11th of August.
Okay, so the next so it was just a new moon.
We just had a new moon.
Okay, so
we've got a full moon coming in 2 weeks' time.
On 2 weeks, okay.
I think it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks time is maybe 3 weeks because
I need
it's
to check the dates.
anyway. But still, we got 2 full moons to go,
Yes.
and
That's 2 full moons to build that wall. Okay. And at the second of those full moons, the transition will be complete.
So it would make sense to me that the feminine, who I'm just going to speak from the first person, who is me, right?
Yeah.
Who, because we're like we were talking about, we're actually doing both roles fully. That's the way. Okay. So if I'm going to put bricks in the wall, I'm going to keep doing what I just explained came to me, which is to keep driving the feminine energy, allowing the feminine energy at this point in time to create, which is totally based on the opposite of what we've been operating on. Yes. The logic, the strategy, the plan, right?
And technically that's the pole reversal.
Right.
There may well be a pole shift at some point, maybe not in our lifetime, but in order for that to occur, we have to shift ourselves.
Wow. So that's interesting to think about too.
Yeah.
Because what if you have, let's just say, 2 million people on the earth who have done it within themselves, and yet the collective poles haven't shifted? That would make for some crazy magnetics. I bet those people that have done it within themselves would be able to do some really amazing things.
Absolutely. Wow. Absolutely. And the other thing that I'm aware of, I might be putting this workshop together on the ego and the inner child, but I would be delusional if I thought I was the only one doing that.
Of course, yeah.
Because I can't reach everybody. So collectively we are being channels for this work to be disseminated amongst humanity in whatever capacity we can do that.
Yes. And then because things are changing so fast, what used to be, let's say, as an example, like a 6-week course a year ago is now a 6-day course. And tomorrow it'll be a 6-hour course. And there'll be a 6-minute course and a 6-second course. You know what I mean? Like it's moving so fast.
And then everybody will wake up and remember that they don't need a course because they knew it anyway.
Right. I want to ask you this because Morgan and a couple of, I want to say I saw 5 accounts, and this was in this month, of an occurrence, something that might possibly occur. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
So they all talked about, and I'll give you, because Morgan's, I think, came in a vision, her example, because it's all metaphor.
Yeah.
So all the people like us that are consciously doing what we've all been doing for the last whatever, right?
Yeah.
They were approaching a line. We were approaching a line.
Yeah.
When we crossed the line, not only was, let's say, the shift occurred, but all those that were called unawakened were shifted with us at the same time.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. So she said it. I read 2 accounts of 2 brothers, and I know there was 5 because I remember counting them. Maybe there was 4 plus her. But so you're saying that feels right to you, that everyone will come up at the same time?
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. So we crossed the line. Okay. So there was a quantum amount of people who crossed the line. Okay. But that line then started to open up as the void.
Right.
Okay. So now it's not a line that's going to be crossed. It's a void that needs to be crossed.
I see. Yeah, I see that. I see what you're saying. It's the same thing, different metaphor. Makes more sense to me. That makes more sense. And it is hard to try to imagine these things that are multidimensional in a linear way. You know what I mean? But that description sounds right. Because people talked about the Great Divide. If we crossed to the other side, there would be one.
Yeah.
Okay, it only makes sense. And now it makes sense that the void diminishes as we anchor where we're at and say, we're really here on this side of it. Let's be it, own it. And there goes the, the evaporate.
as we progress and we take on more spherical time, we'll come to realize that there was never a void. There was never a line.
Just like there was never a wounded child.
Exactly.
And here we go with the great universal paradox, which to me, I'll stand by since I reawoke. That's been the greatest. Whenever I see it, I know it's true, and that is, here we are, trying to birth through sacred union, yet the child is born already and just wants to come sit at the table as an equal.
Yes.
I mean, it makes perfect sense. It makes total sense.
There was a word you used right at the beginning, and it was the word sovereignty.
Yeah.
Okay. And I fully understand why that word is used in spiritual circles, enlightened groups, etc. But we actually have to start moving beyond that word now.
Yeah.
Because the word sovereignty, technically meaning ruler.
Right.
Okay. Nobody in spherical time is in charge.
Right.
The only responsibility we have is that of our own wholeness.
Right.
And if we are working on the wholeness within, then we're automatically creating a unity bond with everybody else, because we're not separated anymore.
Yeah.
So whether it be the word sovereignty, divine sovereignty, whatever it is, we need to move beyond titles.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Because even the mention, like if I say to you, like the example of the feminine, what I'm essentially, I mean, it could be seen this way.
Yeah.
The masculine, allowing her to be in her full sovereignty without repression.
Yeah.
That immediately suggests that somebody is giving somebody permission, when the fact is it's like you know what I mean? It's like the chicken. Well, I would say the chicken and the egg, but it doesn't make sense. Well, it actually points to the problem, and the problem replicates.
Absolutely.
Because somebody gave somebody, right? And there was nothing to give. It's just
exactly. Exactly. There's nothing to give, there's nothing to receive.
Yeah.
It just is.
Wow. Holy macaroni. Holy shiitake mushrooms.
Yes.
I'm telling you, I haven't felt the mother's energy like the last 2 nights. It's just been absolute. And I'm sleeping on the ground.
Yeah.
It's all crooked with the rocks and stuff. and I wake up. I wasn't hurting because of that. I was hurting because of just fatigue this morning. But wow.
Yeah.
Far out. Far
Powerful.
out.
I love it.
And yes, and I think what I saw, what I've seen, and we've talked about this, what we've seen on the Soulogy platform is the most powerful thing we've seen over the years are these women who haven't stepped up, who've been reluctant, who come out and tell their story. Like the lady I met in New Mexico the other night. She didn't come on, but she told me some amazing things.
Yeah.
Like amazing. So I saw that yesterday and experienced it yesterday when my friend Ty here, who's like a musical maestro, and he met this guy, and I just met him, and he's a jazz guitarist, singer, everything.
Yeah.
Street musician for 6 years. Very accomplished because he does it every day.
Yeah.
Well, I realized I was standing in a studio in front of a microphone, and I was like, I'm really scared. I'm really, but I watched the three of us attempt to make something happen.
Yeah.
And the child was there in all of us. And the vulnerability, but the feminine, but it was the flow of the feminine, because this was a part of us. It was new to me. And our friend Amethyst said the same thing. It was just a special place. And I don't care what it sounded like or didn't sound like. It was a special place. And that to me was like a living example of how you put the bricks in the wall that we're building through August the 8th.
It's called creation, Todd.
Yeah. Yeah. And really, when you think about it, if you really think about it, at least in this space that we're in this realm, you cannot create by yourself.
No, because creation comes from a place of unity.
Yeah, you have to create with one or more, so to speak. You cannot create by yourself. You
No,
know what I mean? You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
I mean, and it doesn't mean you have to have a physical counterpart, or let's say a songwriting collaborator. It can be in the energetic field or something. But yeah, I can see where, like, how could you create a child in the first place if there was only one parent?
yeah, yeah,
So I don't know.
exactly. But if we take that to another level, um, and we see ourselves as not being separate from anything, then we don't even have to look at the concept of creating with another, because we are the other.
Yeah. Well, really, yeah. God, this is deep. Deep couple of days here in Sedona. Why would I be surprised?
I love Sedona. I was there in 2012.
2012. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we've got one of our sisters coming into the studio in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And we definitely need to continue this conversation and check in with you. Who knows what it's going to look like, but I think on or about August the 8th would be good.
Yeah, 8th of August, did you say?
Well, that's what you said.
Yeah, I just checked. I just checked. The next full moon is July 13, and then the next one after that is August 12.
Wow.
So we'll see.
August 12th. Think about that. That's 222 and
That's
8.
1282022. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Hey, everybody put your seatbelts on. And
Yeah.
I just want to say shout out to Merlin and to
Oh,
our beautiful sister, Sherilyn, who we met here in Sedona. And Morgan and I stayed with her at her home about 3 weeks before she transitioned. We stayed there for 13 days.
yeah.
And there's so many things that come full circle. But I just wanted to recognize Merlin because of your affinity and my affinity and his importance, as well as Sherilyn. But I love you, Nicola. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in the next few weeks and
Yeah.
seeing what happens. And thank you for your service. And thank you, beloved Anna,
You're very
for
welcome.
sharing space and honoring us with your presence.
Yeah. Good.
Peace out.
I'm alone.